Hi guys, welcome to Lisa Loves. You will need to bear with me today because I have so many videos to do. My son is off for summer holidays at the moment and I am not getting time to do anything. Ignore this, I had my hair cut today. I hate it, but we'll work through it. It will grow back eventually. This is for last week, the week leading from the 9th to the 15th of July. And as usual, just a rundown of what movies I've watched and what I thought in as brief. I'm going to move you in as brief as I can. Top of my head's going to be cut off. Right, I do slouch a lot though, so that's why I've sort of put the level down a bit. Do you like my Cookie Monster? Yeah, that's very rock and roll, isn't it? Right, so movies in the last week. Right, The Forest of the Lost Souls. I reviewed this on Geek Legion of Doom. I put a little link on my page sending you over to Geek Legion of Doom, who I reviewed it for, to watch or to hear the review. This is a really good movie, guys. It's Portuguese. It's all shot in black and white, but it's just really, it had me fooled. I didn't realise where it was going. It follows two people who meet in a forest between Spain and Portugal. It's a forest very like the one in Japan, where people go to commit suicide, and these two individuals, older man, younger girl, maybe late teens, come across one another, and it follows their journey sort of on the path to them wanting to end their lives and what happens after they meet. I can't say any more than that without ruining it. It's going to be released by Wild Eye Releasing, I think on the 5th of August, but I did a full review on it with a few clips and bits and bobs over at Geek Legion of Doom's channel. I will try my best to remember to put the link below, but if I have a brain fart, as happens, and don't, if you look back a couple of videos, you'll see one that just basically says horror movie recommendation. That gives you the link to go over, so just in case. So really recommend that one, guys. Then I watched Big Legend. I got this confused with the movie Exists, which I wanted to see, which a couple of people had mentioned on their channels. I'm not going to try and guess who it was, but I think Last Venom 76 may have been one. But I'm terrible with remembering because I watch so many videos every day. I don't remember what I've watched on whose channel. I'm terrible. But Big Legend is a Bigfoot movie. I thought it was meh. It was mediocre. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was worth watching. It's the sort of thing, if there's nothing else to watch, yeah, it's okay. Bits and bobs of it were watchable. But when you compare it to another movie I watched the following evening when I realised my error, I watched the movie Exists, which is the same subject matter, and it is awesome. Really good movie, guys. Couple of people reviewed it and said it was really good, so I thought I'd give it a go, and it is indeed very, very good. I loved how this movie ended. I simply loved it, I won't say, but yeah, go check out Exists. I'm not the type of person that goes in for movies about big, like, crocodiles. No, because I loved Rogue. I'm not a monster movie person, but when it's a good one, I enjoy it. I just don't watch all the really sort of B movie ones like Sharknado and Five-Headed, whatever it is. But yeah, this Exists, I really enjoyed. Very good. I watched Jumanji again, as in the remake with Dwayne Johnson. I saw this in the cinema when it came out with my family and I loved it. I prefer it to the original Robin Williams version. I love The Rock. He can do no wrong. The guy, he makes me feel all warm and squishy. You know, one of those actors, like Nicolas Cage. I can sit down and watch them and I just enjoy watching them. The Rock has that for me, and I just loved his role in Jumanji. That reminds me, I watched Skyscraper as well. I haven't written that down. I don't know if I said I watched Skyscraper on last week's catch-up, but we went to the cinema to see The Rock's new movie, Skyscraper, and that was really, really good fun. Really good summer movie. Highly recommend that one as well. It's a lot of fun. It's like a slightly not so adult version of Die Hard. That's what it reminded me of. My husband said it was like a cross between Towering Inferno and Enter the Dragon. Go figure. Next one I watched was called Ideal Home. This one was recommended by Aaron from Screen Stars, and it stars Paul Rudd of Ant-Man fame and oh my goodness, British actor. He played that DJ guy. It's about a gay couple who manage through situations occurring to have to look after one of their grandsons. And it's just about the sort of situations that evolve from that, and sort of the life they try to make for him, and changing from this real sort of like almost playboy lifestyle, sort of dinner parties and drugs and drink, and all of a sudden there's a child and they just don't know what to do. So yeah, it follows that sort of story. I did enjoy it. It was a nice enough little movie. I didn't love it. It's one of those things, as a drama, it was okay, but it's hard to get my sense of humour bang on, and just that wasn't quite my sense of humour. The next one, this is because my son's off school and I'm trying in vain to like keep him quiet for a couple of hours. I watched Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. The reason I watched this is because Steve Carell's in it, and I really like Steve Carell. He plays the dad, and the mum is someone that's really is a big name as well, and I've forgotten because I do. It basically tells the story of a 12-year-old boy who has parents and a sister and brother who have always, life goes swimmingly, perfectly sweet, and he just has really bad luck and he never has a good day. And one year on his birthday he makes a wish that everyone should know what it's like to have a bad day just like him. And unfortunately, on the day that he wishes his family to have a really bad day, his sister's due to star in a school musical, his brother is taking his driving test and taking his girlfriend to prom, and his dad has got an extremely important interview for a job. So you can imagine, chaos ensues. It was a really fun, just warm little movie. It's a family movie really. If you want to sit down and watch something suitable for your kids, but you want to be entertained at the same time, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But Steve Carell, I love him. He's a really good actor. He just makes me feel really... It's like The Rock and Nicolas Cage. I just like to see him on screen. I don't think he ever does much that's bad. Next one, a little bit different. Revenge. This is one that I'd seen recommended on quite a few horror channels. It was a story of a girl who is taken by her boyfriend. He goes on a hunting trip every year, meets up with these other guys, quite isolated place, and he takes his girlfriend with him for the first couple of days before the other guys are due to turn up. They turn up early. The other guys don't act towards his girlfriend as they should do, and it turns out the main guy, the boyfriend, turns out to be a piece of not very nice things. I'm not going to swear either. And basically the entire movie is set around her getting revenge for how they treat her and what they do to her. And I really enjoyed it. As a woman, it's exceedingly satisfying to watch just a woman get her own back on an egotistical, sexist, nasty, abusive piece of stuff. You know what I mean? You have to suspend belief because, you know, what this girl goes through and what this girl survives, she survives a lot of stuff to try and exact her revenge. The special effects in this are fantastic. There's a lot of blood in this movie. There's a lot of splatting, squelching, sliding, slipping around. It's not meant to be funny, but it does make you laugh in places because it is so extreme. I really, really enjoyed it. I would recommend that one if you don't have a weak disposition. I'm not saying it's really brutal. It isn't. It is. It's not horrific compared to a lot of things that you can watch, but it is, yeah, it pulls no punches, and I really enjoyed it. So that was Revenge, and that's a 2018 movie, or is it 2017? It's recent, and there's a few movies with the same name, but if you look it up and there's a picture of a girl on the cover, just a single girl, yeah, it's that really pretty girl who kicked ass. Only two more that I've got written down here. Devil's Cove. I reviewed this for Geek Legion of Doom. I really dislike giving a really negative review. I had no choice for this. I don't know if that review has been put up as yet by Leo from the channel, but I will check, and if that review has been popped up, I will pop the link in the description. It was terrible, guys. It was really, really bad. The girl that starred in it actually wrote the story as well, and she should just stick to writing. It was awful. I just couldn't think of anything to say to you redeeming about the movie at all. It was just a pile of codswallop, really. I wasn't quite that rude in the review, but yeah, I had to temper my words in the review, to be fair. And the last one I've written here, I fell asleep when I watched this. It's nothing to do with the film because I was just tired. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. It is Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. It is it Japanese or is it Korean? I think it's Japanese. This is one that Leo from Geek Legion of Doom reviewed on his channel, and I quite like the idea. My favourite genre of horror is, there's two things that I like. I am one of those people that does like found footage films, and I enjoy anything paranormal, supernatural, ghosty. That's what scares me the most, because to me it's within the realms of possibility. People may scoff, and people have scoffed, and people have said, give my head a holiday, don't talk rubbish, but things have happened. It scares me, let's put it that way. This movie is about a set of young people who are, they go into this abandoned asylum which is supposedly haunted. A specific room is one that's been sealed, no one can get in, and this people have disappeared trying to visit this place. And they want to live stream their event, so they have one guy sitting in a room with all the technology streaming it live to an audience, and he wants to reach a specific amount of people watching. And the other people are going into various rooms with, you know, those cameras attached so they're looking at your face, and another one that's looking out. This movie, for the first 3/4, is really slow, and you think that it's just not going to pick off. It's just like, oh, something please happen. And it was quite slow, but I'm just one of those people, unless the movie is absolutely dire, I will watch it. And I will say the last quarter of this movie is really, really creepy. It did make my heart beat a bit faster, I have to admit. It was a bit, ooh! Just a couple of scenes in it was dead creepy. I almost wished they'd just introduced it all a little bit earlier and creeped us out a bit more with it, because it was super, super, super creepy. So yeah, and things that happen, you can't help but put yourself in the situation, and you excuse me, you think, what would I do? Shit myself. I said I wouldn't swear, there it goes. There it goes. The decorum has all but disappeared. So yeah, that's the last movie I watched. I had listed ones I watched last night and the night before, but then I realised it was Wednesday, so I have to keep that for next week. So, that's my telly programme, that's my TV. No, it's not, that's my movies. Of those, the ones I would recommend the most are Forest of the Lost Souls, Exists, Revenge, those three. Forest of the Lost Souls, Exists and Revenge are the three that I would recommend the most. If you're a real horror fan, Revenge, probably top. Exists is a really good show, and Forest of the Lost Souls is that little bit more demure and very poignant. There's a lot of drama to it, but it does take a big shift in the middle. I really enjoyed it. But if you don't like foreign film and you don't like reading subtitles, and I've just got a message come up. I don't know if that was Movie Massacre actually. Unfortunately still doesn't have his internet up. I can't wait to get his videos back. I think he's done one recently that I have to watch. A Scream review, that's due to go up, so we need to watch that. So yeah, Revenge, Exists and Forest of the Lost Souls, I recommend heartily all three. TV, the main thing I've been watching on TV this past week, the football's over. But it was on last week, so I didn't watch much telly. I watched a French Netflix show called The Chalet. I'm not all the way through yet. I think there may be 10 episodes and I've watched 6. And it is quite slow, but it's an interesting story. I'm enjoying it. I like the characters. They're very well-rounded characters. It's getting properly into developing the characters and letting you get to know them. It jumps back and forth a 20-year period. Something that happens when people are quite young children, and then again when those children are like adults in their 20s or maybe early 30s. And then the people, sort of the adults in the village are 20 years older. Just stuff that happens, and at the minute people are being wiped out and we don't know who's doing it and we don't know why they're doing it, but this is a tiny, tiny little village right up in the top of the mountains, and someone has managed to cut them off from the outside. There's no telephone lines, there's no mobile signal. The only bridge that leads into this place has been destroyed. They can't get out, can't get a message to anyone. So, and everyone's being picked off, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? So I don't know what's going on yet, but lots of stuff has come up and come about, and it's just interesting. It's not gory, it's not really fast paced or fast moving, but I've been finding it an interesting little watch, so I'll finish that and then see what else we can find. How long have I been talking? That's too long, 15 minutes. Music. I've been listening to the Greatest Showman soundtrack in the car non-stop. My husband hates it, my son loves it, so they've been learning the songs in school, so he wants to hear them, so it's an excuse for me to listen to it. The only other thing I will mention, I'm going to tie two things together in this last. I'm still reading The Long Walk, Richard Bachman, otherwise known as Stephen King, so that's what I'm reading still. It's so long, I keep falling asleep. I'm going to tie together music and channel recommendations at the same time here, and I'm going to put the information I did talk about to you in the description because my memory's fried. Right, two channels I'm recommending, both because I like both channels, but also because these are two very, very talented people musically, who hide their light under a bushel, shall it be said. The first is, I had to actually ask her name this week because I didn't know it. Her name is Shannon. She likes Shan. You guys will know her as Rusting Willpower. I was watching a video. It was her DVD haul from Holiday, and at the end there was this song, and I thought, oh, I like that. What's this? I don't recognise it. I really like that. It was hers. It was only her song, and her, as far as I'm aware, singing it. And I'm like, wow, I really like that. And she sent me information to go and hear the full song, and it's awesome. I love it, and there's other tracks on there as well, and she's such a talented writer, singer. I hope she'll be fine with me putting the link down in there for you to listen to her songs. I would imagine if she didn't want people to hear them, she wouldn't have them on there. So if Shan, if there's any issue, tell me, I will take it straight down. But really, guys, you ought to give her a listen. She is so talented. The other one is Nick, the Last Shoegazer. I've been hunting around to try and find this. He put a link somewhere once and I lost it and couldn't find stuff. I'm going to find the link because I listened to his stuff as well. Really, really talented guy. He actually did put a video out once, well, since I've been on YouTube, possibly prior to this, singing an Oasis cover, which was really, really nice and acoustic. So I am going to put a link to his music channel on here also. I don't know if it's a channel or a website because, like I say, my head's fried. But yeah, I thought I should let people know that these two not only make YouTube videos and are both awesome people, but they're both extremely musically talented. So yeah, that's me combining channels of music in one this week. And I've taken it like 20 minutes. I apologise. This was meant to be 10 minutes long. So yeah, I will wrap up weekly favourites weekly catch up there. And I will catch you next week with the movies I've watched then. So in the meantime, it's over and out from Lisa Loves.